The blizzard didn't howl, it screamed. It was a primal, relentless sound that tore through the ancient timber of my isolated cabin, vibrating in the very marrow of my bones. Living this far north, nestled in the spine of the unforgiving Ironcrest Mountains, meant accepting that nature was not a gentle mother, but a butcher with a blade of ice. My nearest neighbor was a 3-day trek south, a distance that felt like a century in this whiteout hell. I tightened the sash of my thick wool robe, shivering despite the roaring hearth that fought a losing battle against the cold seeping through the walls. Suddenly, the wards I'd woven into the very perimeter of my clearing triggered. It wasn't a gentle chime. It was a violent, psychic snap, like a silver cord breaking in my mind, leaving a coppery tang of alarm on my tongue. Something heavy had breached them, something in pain. I could feel the life draining from it, a frantic, desperate pulse that stained the snow-choked air. It was blighting. I didn't hesitate. I grabbed my heavy cloak and the lantern, pushing out into the abyss. The wind hit me like a physical blow, stealing my breath, but the smell of blood was sharper than the ice. I found them barely 10 yards from the porch, two monstrous shapes against the swirling white. They were massive, impossibly so, not the gray timber wolves that roamed these peaks, but creatures torn from nightmare and legend. One was a midnight black behemoth, sprawled on his side in the deepening drifts, his breathing a ragged, wet rattle that promised death. The other, a golden russet male, stood a defiant, trembling guard over him. He snarled at the wind itself, his leg favoring a jagged wound that wept a steady, dark crimson into the pristine snow. "I can help," I shouted over the gale, holding my hands up to show they were empty. The golden one snapped his jaws, teeth clicking mere inches from my face. His eyes were painfully, shockingly human, amber, desperate, and filled with a terrifying intelligence. Let me help him, or he dies out here. The golden wolf hesitated, looking down at his fallen companion, then back at me. With a low whine that sounded too much like a sob, he stepped back. It took every ounce of my strength and the assistance of the injured golden wolf to drag the black beast onto a canvas tarp and haul him inside. The moment the door latched shut, the silence of the room felt deafening, broken only by our ragged breaths and the crackle of the fire. I stoked the flames, sweating now, and turned to my patients. They were still in fur. The black wolf was unconscious, his paws shredded. It looked like they had run miles over jagged shale. His pads were raw meat, swollen and bleeding. The golden one collapsed near the hearth, watching my every move with unblinking intensity. "I need to clean this," I murmured, more to myself than the beasts. I gathered warm water, tinctures of yarrow and comfrey, and strips of clean linen. The black wolf twitched as the warm cloth touched his flank. A low rumble started in his chest. "SHH," I soothed, reaching for his paw. "This is the worst part. The ice cut you deep." I cleaned the wounds, wincing at the severity. Infection would take him within days. I needed to wrap them. I grabbed the heavy leather pouches I used for storing dried roots, improvised boots. "Nobody told you how hard it would be to put booties on a werewolf," I muttered, the absurdity of the situation almost making me hysterical. I tried to slide the leather over the massive, limp paw. The wolf flinched in his sleep, kicking out. I grunted, pinning the leg down with my hip. "Stop it. You're going to lose the foot if you don't let me." A hand, impossibly large and calloused, suddenly clamped around my wrist. The heat was searing, a shocking branding touch that shot up my arm. I gasped, my head snapping up. The fur was gone. In a silent, dizzying wash of magic and the sickening sound of shifting bone, the wolf had receded. In his place lay a man, naked, scarred, and magnificent in a way that was both terrifying and utterly captivating. His hair was as black as the midnight pelt had been, matted with sweat and melted snow. His eyes snapped open and my breath caught. They weren't wolf yellow, but the stormy gray of a winter sky, and they fixed on me with chilling focus. He didn't look grateful, he looked lethal. "Who," he rasped, his voice like gravel grinding together, "are you?" He yanked me down. I lost my balance, falling across his broad, fever-hot chest. His other hand came up to grip my throat, not squeezing, but holding me there, a hostage to his gaze. "I'm the woman saving your life," I whispered, my heart hammering against his ribs. From the fireside, a low growl vibrated through the floorboards. I froze. The golden wolf was shifting too.
Want to keep the flame ignited without having to wait for the next part? You can find the full, tantalizing tale on our main page. See the link in the description.